I felt it the second Vanessa lifted her glass like she was about to knight me with sarcasm. The Beaumont Estate ballroom was alive with crystal clinks and fake laughter. The kind of night where everyone pretends they're celebrating family when they're really celebrating money. Chandeliers dripped light onto silk gowns and $1,000 watches. The air smelled of caviar, aged scotch, and greed. Vanessa leaned in, her smile sharp enough to slice crystal. "That little ring doesn't make you family, Ethan," she said loud enough for the nearest tables to hear. "It's adorable,
though.
Like you're cosplaying the heir." A few people chuckled. A few more looked away. I kept my bourbon glass steady, met her eyes, and gave her the smile I save for people who mistake silence for surrender. 1 Mississippi.
2.
She laughed that tiny, practiced laugh and turned back to the crowd. "To tomorrow," she called out, voice rising like she was conducting an orchestra. "By noon, Beaumont Holdings belongs to Meridian Capital. Legacy preserved. Future secured. Checks clearing." Cheers. Glasses went up. Applause rolled like thunder. I took one slow sip, let the bourbon burn the humiliation down to a cold, steady pulse. Then I set the glass on the nearest tray and walked out without a word. The hallway to the private study was lined with portraits of Beaumont men who built this empire brick by brick. I pushed open the heavy oak door and stepped into silence, so thick it felt like stepping into the past. The room still smelled of Grandpa's pipe tobacco and leather-bound ledgers. Nothing digital. Nothing cloud. Just paper that couldn't be edited after the fact. Olivia had shown me the drawer years ago during a thunderstorm when the power went out. "He kept the important things where no one could delete them," she whispered, guiding my hand behind the globe on the shelf until the hidden latch clicked. The drawer groaned open. Yellowed folders. Handwritten tabs. And at the very back, a cream envelope sealed with deep red wax and the Beaumont crest. My fingers shook only a little as I broke the seal. The document was still crisp. Grandpa's handwriting. Steady and unyielding. Last page. Clause 17. In the event of any proposed equity sale or transfer exceeding 25% of company value, the legally married spouse of a direct descendant, if wearing the family's signet ring issued at marriage, shall possess the unilateral right to veto said transaction pending independent legal review by counsel of record. No asterisks. No sunset clause. Just ink and intent. I took the photo. Sent it to one name, Victor Langford. The only man still alive who had sat in this room with Grandpa the day they wrote it. I didn't go back to the ballroom. I stood in the dark hallway, thumb tracing the plain gold band on my finger. Olivia had slipped it on during our wedding and whispered, "He didn't give this to you because you're blood. He gave it because he trusted you to remember what blood sometimes forgets." Tonight I remembered. My phone stayed dark for 30 seconds. Then the dots appeared. Then Victor Langford's name flashed across the screen. I answered on the first ring. "Ethan." His voice was gravel and decades of courtroom calm. "Tell me you're looking at the original." "I'm holding it." A pause. Clause 17? Still there. Still says what it always said. Another pause. Longer. "I'll be there in 40 minutes. Do not let anyone touch that document." And Ethan wore the ring where they can see it. He hung up. I slid the envelope into my jacket, closed the drawer, and stood in the dark study feeling the weight of every Beaumont who had ever stood here before me. Grandpa's voice echoed in my head from the night he made us sign it. "Money is loud, Ethan. Legacy is quiet. One day someone will try to sell the quiet. Make sure you're still listening." Back in the ballroom, the party had reached that dangerous second wind stage. Ties loosened. Laughter too loud. Deals being whispered like dirty secrets. Vanessa was holding court by the fireplace. Champagne flute in one hand, the other gesturing dramatically as she described streamlining legacy assets. Meridian Capital's lead banker nodded along like a puppet. I stayed near the wall, invisible until I wasn't. Victor Silver Bentley rolled up the gravel drive at exactly 9:47 p.m. The piano player missed a note. Forks froze midair. Vanessa's laugh cut off like someone had yanked the cord. He walked in carrying a slim leather portfolio. White hair slicked back. Shoes shining like they'd never touched anything ordinary. He didn't greet anyone. He simply scanned the room until his eyes found mine. "Is the spouse of Olivia Beaumont present?" he asked, voice carrying without effort. I stepped forward. The ring caught the chandelier light. Vanessa's eyes locked on it like it had personally betrayed her.
Victor turned to me.
"Mr. Langford, you have the floor." Victor placed the portfolio on the head table with a soft thud that somehow silenced 200 people. He opened it. A certified copy of Clause 17 gleamed under the lights, highlighted in precise gold ink. "This document was executed in 1998, he said. "Registered with the Delaware Division of Corporations. Never amended. Never revoked. Still binding." Vanessa's voice cracked like thin ice. It was ceremonial. Everyone knew that. Victor's gaze swung to her slowly. "Ceremonial clauses do not appear in Delaware filings. MS. Beaumont. This one does. And the ring is being worn." I spoke for the first time all night, voice steady. "I am exercising Clause 17. Pending legal review. I do not consent to the sale of Beaumont Holdings." The room detonated. A glass shattered somewhere. Someone gasped like they'd been punched. The Meridian banker started flipping pages frantically. Vanessa's face went the color of old ash. "This is insane," she hissed, stepping forward. "He's not even blood." Victor didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Blood was never the requirement. The ring and the marriage license were. Both are present. Board members were already on their phones. Whispers turned to arguments. "Delaware law family governance precedent." The words flew like shrapnel. Vanessa tried one last time. "You can't do this. The deal is already in motion." I looked straight at her. "Watch me." Victor closed the portfolio. "Copies will be distributed in the morning. Until then, any further action on the sale is stayed." He turned to me. "Mr. Langford, you have the floor for the evening." He walked out the same way he came in, quiet, unhurried, unstoppable. The shouting started immediately. Board members demanded explanations. The Meridian team huddled like they'd been hit by a truck. Vanessa's heels cracked against marble as she stormed out, dragging the CEO behind her like excess luggage. The double doors slammed so hard the crystal chandelier swayed.
Inside.
Phones lit up like a Christmas tree on fire. "Is there precedent? Call Delaware Council now." This can't hold up. But the words sounded more like prayers than arguments. I stayed by the fireplace. Fire long dead. Watching the empire they tried to self-fracture in real time. An old board member, white beard, tired eyes, stopped beside me. "Your wife's grandfather always said the family needed a spine again," he murmured. "Looks like he found one." He walked away before I could answer. By midnight the ballroom was half empty. Glasses sat abandoned. Floral arrangements wilted under the weight of sudden silence. I slipped out the side door and drove home through Darkhampton's roads, ring heavy on my finger. At 8:17 a.m. Meridian Capital sent the notice. Proceedings paused indefinitely due to material instability in family governance. By noon the board issued their own statement. Passive voice.
Corporate speak.
Total surrender. Vanessa never made another public appearance. No press release. No LinkedIn post. Just silence. A week later Victor stood behind a simple podium downtown. No fanfare. And read Clause 17 into the record. The scanned document went live on the Family Foundation website the same day, timestamped Footnoted. Impossible to ignore. That evening I found Olivia on our back porch, cross-legged in my old Yale sweatshirt, holding 2 mugs of coffee like peace offerings.
She didn't say, thank you. She didn't need to.
She just looked at the ring on my hand and said quietly, "He knew you'd never chase power. That's why he gave it to you. He knew you'd only use it when it actually meant something." I sat beside her. The ring caught the first light of morning, plain gold, worn smooth at the edges. Nothing flashy. Just a promise kept. We drank our coffee in silence, listening to the ocean in the distance. No lawyers. No vultures. No champagne toasts to the death of something sacred. Legacy, it turns out, isn't the buildings or the bank accounts. It's the quiet decision to protect what someone else spent a lifetime building when no one else would. And sometimes, the smallest piece of metal on your finger turns out to be the heaviest thing in the room.